I've got a bunch of questions, kind of a grab bag that I wanted to answer that I don't think really kind of each get their own video. So I'm just going to do a quick grab bag here this morning. So first was to ask, how does Valve pick people to be in front of games for promotion? And they're actually talking about Josh Wire for Portal 2. And so for Left 4 Dead 1, that was me and Michael Booth. And actually, Booth did a lot of the on-camera stuff. I preferred not to. If I had to put on makeup, I didn't want to do it. It was kind of my rule. But then for Left 4 Dead 2, I took over that role more exclusively. Actually, there's a couple interviews we did with ours and a couple others where I included some of the engineers. They were uncomfortable and did not like doing it, but it was a good practice for them to see. A, first, this isn't easy, and B, hey, it makes you think about your game when someone asks 2 questions that you're not ready for, because all of a sudden you have to think, oh God, what do we want out of that? And that's why you sometimes just start babbling incoherently. But for Josh's case, we'd originally asked Josh to be part of it, him and Eric, and then Josh kind of had a rough time with it when we did an internal play test, and he came back, he studied, he got better at it. He's really good at it. He's better than I'm at it. He's way more on point. And so he actually did it a lot for different events. Like I think it was, God, what was that? Some PAX East, I think he did, where he did a lot of it. And actually me and Jay Pinkerton would sit in this room where people were falling off the black ledge. Oh, it was horrible. But people would wait 2 hours to come in. They'd get a little intro by me or Jay, and then they would watch a 10-minute movie. And yeah, it was a weird, and Josh and Eric did the press during that. And then later, me and Eric did the press. But so like always kind of filling in and around and kind of trying to help out. And then eventually when they did the book, the Keeley book, it kind of features more me and Eric kind of thing because they wanted a story to package up and tell. I always felt awkward about that because like Jay was a bigger part of the writing team on the single player version than me. I did the co-op side of it. And so, you know, I don't know. The press kind of wants to do those kind of things. You just kind of roll with it. But so yeah, there's a bunch of different people. It's kind of random how it gets chosen, but there is a little bit of testing, a little bit of practice. And I know when we did like the rollout with Steam Machine, the Vive, and something else that year. Wow, I can't remember. That was like, that was practicing as I think Eric, EJ, and Gabe doing those. But no, it takes time. One of my favorite was Gabe once asked, why can't everybody do this? You're an idiot. Actually, it's called me and Doug Lombardi both idiots. Because if we can do it, everyone should be able to do it. But yeah, it takes some practice to get out there. Because you take a lot of heat. Like if for this next one, I can't fix your vac ban. I can't. Stop, please, comrade. A comrade who says, I am an indifferent person that you were very spoiled by money. That's why I won't unban him from VAC. No, just don't cheat. How about that, dude? But yeah, hey, man, you get a lot of that. Seriously, I can't help you with anything on VAC bans. Earlier, people were saying, oh, it's easy for me to say about when I said about leaving Valve and not wanting to prioritize money. Yes, there are periods of your life where you just have to do everything possible because you need to feed your family and all that. I get that. But what I'm talking about is, and I think most people get this when you start talking about it, is there's different types of people, and you know those people. There are people that are happy about money. They will never have enough. Their parents never told them what the word enough means, right? They just want money, 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 money. And then there's other people who just want to raise up through the ranks and, you know, they want career advancement, and that's all they care about. And they're like, money will come if I have career advancement. And the money people are like, I'll get career advancement. Who cares? I just want the money. And then there's people who care about creating things. Now, neither one of these are better than the other. I think they are just who you are. I think you're just born that way, or environmentally you become that person, right? And for me, I was a realization that I'm most happy about the work, and I don't really care. Like I can tell you, I think I've said this before, what cans of soup mix best with potatoes when you're in a pinch and you want to mix up your diet. But I just wanted to focus on making things. That's what makes me happy. And there are people who just are made happy by making more money and wouldn't be happy making things if they weren't making a lot of money out of that. And so it's just identifying who you are. And again, not saying one's better than the other, even though clearly one's portrayed as evilly. It's just, I think, who we are. It's a shame, and then here's another one. It's a shame both first-party and third-party game developers don't focus more on in-house development of good, groundbreaking, new stuff, new engines, new method of storytelling. Ignore the new method of storytelling for a little bit, because if it's something cool like that, maybe. But new engine, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the technology anymore. They don't. We've crossed that bridge. We are now firmly into the land of what's the experience that you can bring. And so that's what matters. And so the tools to make it just don't matter. I mean, you need good tools, and those teams that do that are fantastic, and there's a bunch of people making cool looking things, but it is about the game experience and it's about what you're doing there. And so that's why big companies, they'll do what they need to do, but there's just not a lot of investment or a lot of payoff for doing something groundbreaking technology wise. I know, but you're going to tell me how I'm wrong on that one, but no, the numbers will bear me out, not bury me. Why do small bets tend to fail? With the resources that Tencent and other companies have, there has to be some talented developers that can make great stuff, right? Even small studios with less than 10 people make great games with next to no budget. Sure, and you're going to be able to throw a bunch of exceptions at me. But in general, large companies are paying people large salaries. So those small teams are way more expensive than they would be with those small 10 indie developers, right? They're probably paying them what they pay, like the entire group of 10 is probably covering 2 salaries. So there's that problem. There's the problem of small things are hard to push through in marketing. Our game, the Anacrusis, I love, is a great game, but you've never heard of it because marketing is really expensive and we just had no more money to do that kind of marketing that you need to do these days to push through because there's so many games, like 20,000 games a year or something released, right? Like it's crazy. So you need to put all that money behind it. So if you're going to put a bunch of money behind marketing, why don't you put it behind the thing you think will pay off even bigger, right? If you see like what something like League of Legends makes, right? It's just incredible. And so that's why they do those kind of things. And then you have this other problem that often doesn't get talked about is large companies trying to make small things is really hard because it's not a muscle they've practiced. They're used to being able to use unlimited resources, not care about budget, and bring in everybody that they need to do. Originally, Left 4 Dead was penciled in at making $300,000. I mean, this little side project. I like to think I had something to do with helping make it become the thing that made like $500 million. And Valve just heaped on resources to it. And once they realized it was going to be successful, they couldn't keep it small. They put essentially the whole company on it. And that's just really hard not to do because that's what people do. So if you're already making something small that you don't think is going to have the big upside, and then you pour the whole company resources in it, it's just really hard. I mean, the Supercell was the company that was all about keeping it small, like teams of 6. And I don't think they can do it anymore. I think they're too big now. And they've been talking about having problems where their teams scale up too big. And I know they have some own studios in the US now and stuff, and they're way bigger than 6 people. So it's hard. It's hard to keep it small. So what was Embracer doing? Well, they're growing. Grow. Think about the stock market and their investors when they were growing. The stock market and all of that just cared about what top line, meaning, did you make $1 billion or $2 billion this year? Did it cost you $4 billion to make the money? Who cares? Did you make $2 billion? That's cool. How do you make $3 billion? Buy 5 companies for $1 billion and get another $1 billion in revenue, right? Like it is smoke and mirrors. Sounds crazy. Bottom line is what people care about now. And that's why they're getting raked over the coals, because all the investors look at bottom line and they want, that includes like all your costs and everything, right? So they care about how much things cost. And so they're trying to cut costs and everything and they're getting screwed. Now you can say, hey, that sounds crazy. Why would anyone do that? Because it used to pay off really well. As somebody who bought Amazon stock when it was at $216, it's now split 20-1 and stuff like that. And that's when Amazon was too expensive. Don't buy it because they only cared about top line growth. They just wanted to grow. Well, that investment paid off 1,329%. So can't blame them for trying. So wait, what about the privacy settings killing mobile gaming? IDFA changed and Apple changed how they attribute, or they allow privacy to say, I'm not going to let you track me. And all mobile games were doing was selling ads for other mobile games where you would then make purchases and then they would attribute that sale back to the first game. And that was how they all made money. It's a big pyramid scheme. And Apple said, hey, we don't want that anymore. We're going to stop that. And that just decimated that market because now that they can't attribute where the sale came from, all that marketing just went to hell. And that's why especially Unity, which had made the bet on ads, got devastated. And so by one swoop, Apple just decimated the mobile market and why so many people are leaving. All right. That's it. Did it under 10 minutes. And we didn't even get news to cover the Academy Awards. And what a joke that is. Really? Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie both get robbed from a movie talking about how women get robbed. Oh, God, I hope that's a meta joke. I hope they're going to announce tomorrow, yeah, it was a good gag, huh? See, we watched the movie. We get it. I doubt.